What is the new gold standard for optimizing listings in 2026 for keywords and Amazon's AI like Rufus? Today, we're showing you how to do in seconds what would normally take hours. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AMPM podcast. My name is Bradley Sutton, and I'll be your host. And this is the show where we discuss all things Amazon, TikTok Shop, and Walmart private label, and how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours a day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. Get it? AM, PM podcast. And as a matter of fact, last week I spoke at a conference in Brooklyn, New York, where I used to live, and I went to my favorite pizza place, Giuliana's Pizza, next to the Brooklyn Bridge. And while I was chowing down without a care in the world, I was still making money. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Today is our AIM, AI Monthly, a monthly show we do here on the AMPM podcast that is AI related. And we have a special one this month. It's all about listings. What should you do for listings? All right. Is it just about keyword stuffing? Or should you just optimize for AIs like Rufus? Or is it maybe a mixture of both? Spoiler alert, it's a mixture of both. And we're going to talk today about exactly how to do that. Let's hop into this workshop. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this listing workshop. You're going to get value in this because we're going to talk about whether you use Helium 10 or not. What should you be thinking about when you make a listing? All right. And so I'm going to be talking about strategies. So regardless of what plan you have, whether you have Helium 10 or not, you guys are going to get some value out of this, because here's the thing, guys. In 2026, as anybody who's been selling on Amazon for years, it's different what makes a good listing. I do this workshop once, twice a year. Every time there's something new. Not because I missed something before. It's just because the requirements for Amazon, what makes a good listing, changes. 3 years ago, there was no such thing as Amazon Rufus. 4 years ago, there was no such thing as search query performance as a data point that Amazon gives. 7 years ago, there was no such thing as brand analytics. 5 years ago, there was no such thing in Helium 10 as historical Cerebro searches. So there's always new things that are new data points that we can use. And there's different ways of how the Amazon algorithm works, right? And so it's important to always keep our, knowledge about what makes a good listing kind of fresh. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And here's the thing. The main focus that we're going to talk about today is how you have to have a holistic view of Amazon, which has always been the case. But holistic 5 years ago meant that, hey, optimize for the Amazon algorithm, the SEO, right? But optimize for the customer as well, how the customer searches and how the customer interacts with a listing. It has never, ever in the history of Amazon been good practice to just stuff your listing with keywords. I hope you guys don't do that, all right? Of course, Helium 10, you can get great keywords, but we have never, ever once in the history of Helium 10 just said, hey, just throw as many keywords as you want in the listing. No, it's always had to be balanced with how the customer interacts with the listing, what the customer is feeling. We've always talked about looking at the reviews, right? Hey, don't just think about the keywords. Look at the reviews. What are customers complaining about others' products? Or what are customers saying? This is how they use the product, right? Integrate that into your listing. It has nothing to do with keywords, right? That's always been the case. Now, it's still the same way, but what's an added way of how customers can get summaries of listings? Well, that's with AI. And so that's why nowadays in 2026, you also have to be mindful of optimizing for that customer experience by making sure you're optimized for whatever AI is being used. All right. And so that's something that we didn't have to worry about 3 years ago, but it's not as much of a change, right? Because again, what is AI designed to do? AI is designed to take what customers are already doing or people are already doing and make it an easier, simpler, faster, right? So the concept is still the same, but now you just have a little bit easier way to try and optimize for it. So I'm going to show you how fast you can make a listing now doing all these steps. So let's talk about the keyword side. What are the steps that you have to do to have the right keywords in a listing? All right. The product we're going to do is a bat-shaped bath mat. This is a product that Helium 10 already has, but what would it take to redo the listing? In other words, all right. So let me share my screen here. I'm going to show you guys the exact product that we're working with here. I just searched it up here on Amazon. All right, so I just searched here bath mat. And by the way, guys, if you want to know how Amazon is trying to force AI down your throats, look at this. I did not do anything in Rufus here. I just typed bath mat in the search, and like Amazon is like showing me Rufus over here on the left-hand side. But anyways, this is actually our product right here. So they're bath mat. It's not like a big-time seller or anything, but there's not that many bath mats out there. So what would you guys do to get the main keywords? Well, the main thing that you might do is you might run Cerebro first, right? Run Xray first, and then run Cerebro from Xray. You want to see like, all right, what are the main sellers? And then what are their main keywords? And there's a few ways you can do that. I could have copied and pasted these ASINs directly into Cerebro, or I can do it directly from Xray here. So if this is your own product, guys, and this is what you should do, you select your ASIN first, okay? Right here, we select this, okay? And now we want to select some of the top sellers of exact bath mats. Now, I'm not going to put this coffin bath mat in there because I don't care what keywords bring sales. Yes, this person is advertised on my page, but I don't see them as a direct competitor. I want to just copy the other bat-shaped bath mats, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. This one is a top seller. Look at this guy selling 24 units. So we'll go here. This guy is selling 100 units. Here's a spider web. I'm not going to do them. Is this a bat shape? Nope, that's not a bat shape bath mat. What else do we have here? Tons of sponsored ads. Good grief, the sponsored ads on this page are. A matter of fact, I hope you guys know this, but you can actually filter out these sponsored ads. All right, so I'm going to filter out those sponsored ads because those things are out of control. And let's do this again. Let's select this, and now let's select the other bath mats here. Wow, I don't know why this guy has two different SKUs. They're the same thing. That's interesting. I'll just go ahead and do it. And this guy is selling 87 units. Good grief. So there's some good selling bath mats. And then what do? We hit run Cerebro. And now Cerebro is running here, and it is going to compare my product versus the competitors. And then this is what allows me to see what the main keywords are. Like where are most of them ranking for on page one? Where are most of them advertising? All right. So here's my product. This is the first one that started. That's why it's important that I clicked it first. And now if I want to see the top keywords, I could hit this one button right here, top keywords. And let's see, here's the top 3 keywords. All right. For this product. Matter of fact, I'm going to like take this down. Let's go to 200 search volume and apply. And here, bath rug, bath mat, bat rug. All right. So here's my top keywords. The other thing I like to do is what are the opportunity keywords? Just one click right here. Let's go to opportunity keywords. Opportunity keywords means where is only 1 or 2 of these products ranking for, and not everybody at the same time. All right. Because those have a little bit less competition. All right. So there's another search I can do. Another search I can do is, hey, where is just at least one of these competitors, okay, are ranked in the top 10. So one of these persons ranked in the top 10. So this is another search I can do. And oh my goodness, there's like 163 keywords here. Okay, so here's another great list of keywords. Maybe I'll be like, hey, where are they ranked in the top 5? So I do number of organic competitors, minimum 1, competitor organic rank between 1 and 5. And look at that. There are 75 keywords that are bringing sales to my competitors that I might want to know about. What's another search I can do? Maybe I'm like, hey, where is maybe at least 2 of these competitors, all right, advertising like in the top 6 positions, the top 6 sponsored results. And look at that. Here's 27 keywords where 2 of these competitors are ranked, are showing up in the top. And now one thing I failed to do, guys, this is something I think a lot of you need to know about. Hit this exclude variations button. Hit exclude variations and run the search again, because did you guys notice how on some of these, let me show you here. On some of these products, they're actually part of a variation. Let me see. Like, look at this guy. This has 12 variations here. When you run Cerebro, it is getting keywords for all of these other products. Okay. I only want to see keywords for this exact bath mat. So that's what happens when there's a variation listing. So just FYI, hit this exclude variations and run it again, and then the keyword list goes a little bit down. It's a little bit more relevant. All right, so there's 4 different ways within Cerebro to get keywords. So I would be building this list up. All right, all of those keywords are, have different levels of relevancy, but they're all loosely or tightly related. The other step you should do is look at the historical trends. Guess what, guys? A lot of these products probably did pretty good around Christmas time. Probably Christmas time too, but Halloween, right? Halloween, Christmas time, etc. So what I would want to do, like maybe I'll take the bestseller here and let's go to this guy, or this guy's the bestseller. And I am looking back. Actually, hold on. Let me see who has a little bit longer history. Here's somebody that has some history. This product here. Maybe I want to see what was going on in May of 2025. All right. Maybe he was ranking for some other keywords. So I'm going to use this historical trend. This is only available for Diamond members. Everything I showed you guys up until now was available for Platinum. Now we're getting into some Diamond level stuff. So those of you who are Diamond Elite have this. But this is a game changer, guys, because instead of just looking where they're ranking at now, I'm going back and I'm saying, hey, let me take a time machine to its top month and let me see what were the top keywords then. This is especially good because now I can also see, hey, what if this is a product that's out of stock right now? Okay, what if this is a product that's out of stock right now? Well, now I can take this time machine back and I could put an out of stock product where it's not going to show me any keywords in Cerebro, but I take this time machine and I go back to when it was in stock and getting sales. And now it's like, oh, okay, this is where it was getting sales from. So this is like an exclusive feature that no other tool has. You can't do this in Seller Central. You can't do this in any other tool other than Helium 10. All right. So this is another thing about how to get keywords. The next step for getting the right keywords for your listing is search query performance. All right. So let me go ahead and watch this. This is my product, right? So I am not doing this under the scenario of, I'm making a new product. I'm doing this under the scenario of, I'm just trying to see, is my current listing, does it have all the right keywords? All right. So I would use a very similar process if I'm making a new listing, but this one is about how I'm doing an existing listing. All right. So search query analyzer, if I've been selling this for 12 months, which I'm not sure if I've sold this product for 12 months, but we're about to find out. I want to know all the keywords that Amazon is telling me that I got sales from. Now, if you guys were doing this, here's the part. Everything else I just showed you guys that you can only do in Helium 10. Here's the part that you can do if you don't have Helium 10. In search query performance, you go into Seller Central, you go to search query performance, all right? And you can download 12 reports, all right? So you go to your product and go to the month and download it 12 months at a time and then combine all of them. And you're going to get what I'm about to show you right here, all right? So even if you don't have Helium 10, you've got to use this. Now, if you have Helium 10, instead of having to take 2 hours to download 12 reports, here's what you do. You go in, select the month of, and just select all of the last recent, 11 months or 12 months, okay? There, going all the way to last year. So I'm going to do all of it at once and then select your bath mat product or your whatever, that's what I'm doing. Let me see. Here it is right here, okay? And then hit apply filters. This is available for Diamond and Elite members. This by itself is almost worth it just to have Diamond without anything else I'm talking about today, because it's going to save you 2 hours at a time, all right? So now it is doing all of those reports at once. All 12 of those months, I'm going to see every single keyword that Amazon has showed me for, right? And so let's take a look here. I'm going to go ahead and do advanced settings, and I'm going to say my purchases greater than 1, all right? So if you're doing this in Seller Central, you just have to look at the column that says my purchases and do a little formula that says greater than 1, and let's see how many different keywords drove sales for this product. 103 different keywords drove sales for this product. That is crazy, all right? So now I can actually see here, I can sort it by my purchases, and I can see which were the keywords that brought me the most sales. This has nothing to do with Helium 10, guys. This is Amazon telling me this information, all right? Let's take a look here. And look at this. Bat bath mat, bat rug, goth bath mat. And let me scroll again to the right. Sorry about this, guys. Let's go here. There we go. Look at that. This one keyword brought me 22 sales. This keyword brought me 10 sales. Pretty much all of these you can probably multiply by 3 or 4, and that's like the total number. This is only showing you a portion of where the sales come from. All right, so this is another step. Now, here's an interesting thing though. You cannot see where your competitors got sales from. You can kind of estimate using Cerebro. So the other step would be going into black box brand analytics. All right, black box brand analytics, and you start putting in some of those competitor ASINs. All right, so like for example, let's go ahead and find that. I can actually copy and paste all of them. But I'm just going to pull one of them in here. Let me just see it here. Click my competitor sponsored ads. Anyways, ABA top search terms. This again, you can do with Seller Central. This is called top search term under brand analytics, but you would have to download 26 weeks of reports. So this might take 3 hours or 4 hours to do and then combine it. But I'm going to show you how to do it in Helium 10. So, but again, do you need Helium 10 to do this? No, you don't. It just takes forever to do it. All right. So I'm going to take the weeks of, and I'm just going to go back and I'm going to say, all right, let me pick some recent weeks. You know what? This was a hot product during Halloween. Let me pick some weeks in Halloween. You know what? Let me go back to Halloween 2024. You know, was this selling really well then? Let me pick around Prime Day. You know, let's see what was doing. Basically, pick up to half a year worth, right? And then put in either one or all of your competitor ASINs, okay? And then hit number of ASINs right here in brand analytics. Put inputted ASINs greater than 1%. What does this mean? This means show me any product where my competitor, or any keyword where my competitor was one of the top 3 clicked, okay? And where they had at least 1% of the conversions. What does that mean? That means that is Amazon saying, hey, this keyword brought sales. This is not a Helium 10 estimation or anything like that. This is literally Amazon saying, we are confirming this product for this keyword got sales. So let's go ahead and hit apply filters. And look at that. We've got 17 keywords here. And I can actually see here, Bat Rug got them sales 3 different weeks. The other keywords, you know, they got sales in different weeks. Gothic bathroom accessories, Gothic bathroom set. Anyways, that is the main things of how you should do your keywords, all right? I did about 8 different sources right there on how to get the best keywords, and probably you have some gargantuan lists right now. And so there's going to be some overlap, but that's fine, all right? But now the point is there is a way to do this, guys, where you no longer have to worry about doing all of those steps. And so this is where our new listing builder comes in, okay? So let's go ahead and hop into listing builder, and I'm going to add a listing. And this is what you guys want to do with your own listing. I want, you know, those of you who've got the Diamond and Elite plan, you go to optimize your listing. All right. And then now select your listing from here. Bath mat. Okay. And let's go ahead. I'm going to do optimize this. All right. And now here is where some magic happens. Let's go to add keywords for listing. Here's my product. I'm going to put all of those competitor ASINs here, all right? So this is now the gold standard, guys. So you can do all of those keyword research steps in one. So right here, you are going to go ahead and put the competitor ASINs. So let me just go ahead and paste those competitor ASINs here. By the way, if you don't know who your competitors are, you can hit this Get Competitors button, and it'll show you some of who might be some of your top competitors. But I'm just going to go ahead and paste all those other bath mats here. I like doing the ones that are closest in price and closest in function to my product, all right? And then I like to hit this exclude variations button because, again, I don't, you know, if somebody's selling in the same listing bath mats and coffin bath mats and skull ones, I don't want to necessarily see those, okay? And now, here we go. Look at this. I'm going to select all. Remember that ABA converting keywords with conversion share over 1 for myself? I'm going to go ahead and do that for 26 weeks right here. The ABA keywords that got sales for my competitors, I'm going to go back and look 26 weeks. I might go in here and change some of those weeks. Like if I want to just like skip to like last year Halloween, I can go back 5 years, guys, of this data. Here, remember the search query performance thing that I just showed you guys? How I can find any keyword that Amazon said brought me sales. I'm going to select that here for the last 12 months. I'm going to go 12 months back and do it all. Matter of fact, I'm going to take off February because I don't think we have the data from February, and I'm going to do that here. Remember I said the top keywords, one, I'm going to go ahead and put that minimum 200, and where the average competitor rank is between 1 and 40, and at least 3 competitors are ranking for it. Do you remember that opportunity keywords thing that I did? Here's that right here. It's going to be selected right here. Let's go ahead and do the top 10 for that. Remember that historical one I showed you? Let's go ahead and knock that out. Let's add that where I'm saying, hey, show me where in the last 6 months any of these keywords were in ranking like in the top 5. Okay. Remember that one where I'm like, hey, show me where any one of these competitors is ranking in the top 10 positions. Let's go ahead and add that in here. And hey, remember the one I showed you where, hey, show me where any 2 sponsored or people are doing sponsored ads like in the top 5. I got that right here. So now all of those things that just took me like 25 minutes to explain to you guys, I am doing now in just one click, guys. And it's going to come out in like seconds here, probably like 20 seconds. Where now I don't have to wait and do all those things. I'm building a complete keyword bank here that has all of those keywords as well. This is not just for elite. I saw Margarita ask that. This is for diamond and above. Now it found 500 or 1,000 keywords. That's way too many keywords right there. So I'm going to go back here. I'm actually gonna whittle that down a little bit. That's kind of crazy. So let's see. Let's go with one competitor. Let's go minimum search volume 200, ranked within the top 5 here. Let's go rank between the top 4, and let's go 30 right here. And let's go ahead and see if we can whittle that down a little bit. And I still have more than 1,000 keywords. So I got way too many keywords here. All right. So let's go ahead. And now how do I whittle this down? I want to like take the ones away that don't have one of these. All right. So what I would do is I would take them. Oh, I know what happened. Somebody put a whole bunch of keywords in my, I told you guys I'm doing this live. See, do you see how right here, this keyword dog toys and travel backpack, that's not Helium 10 putting that in there. Somebody messed up my listing and they threw this into my keyword bank, unfortunately. So I have to like delete those keywords. I should really just start this from scratch. But what I would do now is I would delete these. All right. I would delete these and make sure only the ones that have historical keywords are showing up in here. Okay. So, but do you see how fast that was? Like, look at this. Hey, what are all the ones that showed me for historical top keywords? Look at this. Look at this keyword, bathroom rugs, bathroom rug, bath mats for bathroom. All of these had multiple ones where it showed up as keywords, okay? Even something that might have been, I thought might not be relevant here, black shower curtain, right? That showed up historical for one of the products, all right? So this is, guys, this is the power of doing Listing Builder right off the bat. So now what I'm gonna do off camera real quick is I'm going to remove some of these big keywords right here, and I'm gonna show you the next step, all right, of what we are going to be talking about, which is taking the keywords, but then now how do we bring AI into things? I'm going to bring on Andrew now, and he's going to talk about what has changed with how you optimize listings in a world where people might ask Rufus questions and where you want to make sure that you're optimized for AI search for people who use on and off Amazon AI search. So while I clean up these dog toy keywords, Andrew, go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. Bradley took you through the painstaking work that is, keyword research. I've optimized my fair share around 4,000, I think 126 products. There was one time I counted them all up, doing the deep keyword research, going through the Helium 10 workflows. Been using Helium 10 at least the last 6 years. And I think, what we want to see is like with this AI listing builder is we know that creating a listing from scratch takes time, right? Anybody who's ever done a listing, right? It takes time. Deep keyword research is hard work. Balancing the narrative of product page with the integration of these high value keywords to show up in search and convert customers is fundamentally an art. And I believe human experts, will always have the edge. With that being said, what if the time, hard work, and art you poured into your listings could be accelerated, less time, less hard work, and even more art? And if you're familiar with like all the acronyms people are coming out with, GEO, AEO, SEO, or as the song goes, what? EIEIO. LinkedIn, newsletters, emails, bombarding us with another acronym every day, stemming from this desperation for new language, since we're in a new world of discovery. Everyone feels this shift, so naturally we ask, who's right? Who do we believe? Who do we trust to provide us the new paradigm of what is search optimization? The problem is if you optimize for only one of these, right, for SEO, for basic keywords, you overpay somewhere else. Keyword stuffing can raise short-term relevant signals while harming conversion and trust. And beautiful prose can convert well while failing to show up where it matters, right? You can have all this beautiful copy, but what does it matter if you don't have the right keywords to show up in the first place? So a modern listing needs a truly balanced design between what we call SEO, search engine optimization. We're using that as a traditional sense, what in Amazon we call the A9 algorithm, and then optimizing for GEO, or what's called generative engine optimization. And in Amazon terms, it means, okay, are we optimizing for Rufus as well? Helium 10 stands at the forefront of keyword optimization. And I believe if you have a system that has keywords and AI search that both matter, building listings requires, deep insight into search terms as well as narrative-driven and use case-based writing. And I believe like the modern Amazon discovery that we have today is definitely, like I've said already, hybrid. It must signal the classical indexing systems, and it must communicate clearly to AI-driven shopping experiences that interpret intent. This shift changes how listings should be built. And our AI listing builder not only writes faster, it also solves real problems. And so this next generation needs to plan, allocate, validate, then to write with discipline. And so I think like there's the core idea again of SEO, GEO, AEO, of, triple optimization, supporting classic indexing, treating keyword placement as a strategy problem, not just a writing byproduct. Our AI will support semantic relevance. It'll maintain coherent phrasing, natural language flow, consistent terminology across sections. It supports answer coverage by shaping content to the page, anticipates shopper questions. Like we said, Rufus, I'm going to show you how those features work. And I think, again, focusing on the fact that it's not an either or world. We live in a both and world. It's SEO and GEO, right? It's A9 and Rufus. It's ranking for keywords and converting customers and showing up at Rufus. And I think that's really, really important. So instead of asking, okay, what's the feature of this? It's more, okay, how does this provide a benefit? Let me give you an example. So like with the Victorian style mirror, the fact that it's Victorian, sure, that's or the fact that it's ornate gold is a feature, but the benefit is that it gives that Victorian aesthetic. It gives that vintage feel in a room. So sure, the feature it has is its ornate, gold frame, but at the same time, that's also a benefit to you, where it gives that Victorian beauty to your home, as an example. One thing too about this listing builder is it's up to 10 bullet points that the keyword strategy is implemented into. And I can't give like the exact specifics, but our agent that runs the listing builder is what, if you like fancy words, is multi-agenter, multimodal, which means it can handle images. So if you want to upload an image or the current image that you have, it'll actually analyze that image and automatically populate those attributes and everything inside a listing builder. And not only that, we have a competitor voice agent as well that will take your ASIN or any ASIN that you want of a competitor. You say, hey, I really like this competitor. They have a really cool way of writing. I kind of want to copy that a little bit. And so you can put that in and it'll bring the style of that voice from that listing competitor and put it into we're going to show you as a product card. And from there, you can also do Rufus optimization, right? and you can input an ASIN, your own ASIN. It'll actually go scrape the Amazon. It'll go to Amazon Marketplace, take the questions, and actually answer the questions. So that way you're answerable in Rufus.
Before we get there, let me show everybody else one quick way to just like star the keywords, because when we're talking about AI making your listing, before we even get to the AI part, you have important keywords that you're like, hey, these have to get in my listing because I know these are my most important keywords. And so the way to do that is right here. I rank this by CPS. CPS is competitor performance score. All right. And so I want to star the keywords. I'm like, you know what? I absolutely have to get it into my listing. I'm not going to put Batman here. I'm actually going to take that off because, using Batman could get me into trouble. But all of my most important keywords that I know I have to get in the listing, I want to, kind of like target them. Okay. So that's something that's new, because you can only get like about 10, 15, 20 phrases in phrase form in your listing. And the rest are going to be like, you just want to get the individual keywords into your listing. So make sure to put what are your most important keywords, like search query performance keywords. Hey, whatever had gotten me sales here, you definitely want to get into your listing, right? So let's see, search query performance. Let's go ahead and look at there's going to be one where I'm going to have the my purchases here, and I can actually search, wow, it's already here. I didn't even think this was going to be here yet. SQP my purchases. I want to choose the ones that brought me the most sales. All right. So here's Goth Bath Mat brought me sales. Look at that, 8 sales. So I definitely want to have that keyword in there. Halloween bath mat. All right. Goth bathroom rug, bat-shaped bath mat. So these keywords I definitely want to get. So one thing I'm not doing, guys, is I didn't go in here and clean off some of my my competitor keywords and other ones that you definitely want to take the time to do. But once you do that, you go to continue with all keywords. Now I have all of those keywords here. All right. And now going to what Andrew was talking about here. By the way, if you're wondering what are some of these scores that we have, the scoring system here is based on this long case study I did where I made hundreds of listings, and I was just testing what forms of keywords have an direct impact on SEO. Where you put the keyword in the listing, where does it have a bigger impact? So we have a very complex scoring system that's updated for 2026, where, hey, if I have this keyword in the title, it counts for this many points. If it's in a bullet points, it counts for this many. If it's not in phrase form, it counts for this many, etc. So this is allows us to see how optimized for the algorithm we are. Now, going to what Andrew said, it's going to pull in your image here, and if we just hit this analyze button, it can just look at this bat-shaped bath mat and kind of like give you some points about what this product is. All right. So look at this. It says a soft, black, shaggy bath mat designed to provide a plush, comfortable surface underfoot, ideal for use outside the shower bathtub. Guys, this thing that Andrew created, it just got that just from this image by itself here. All right. So this is kind of like amazing, what we can do here with AI. And he said, remember how he said you can pick how many bullet points you want to have? Okay. Well, maybe you want up to 5 bullet points. Category, you might want to put the category here of what the product is. Brand name, I'm going to put Manny's Mysterious Oddities. Whoops, I can't even spell mysterious.
I would point out too, Bradley, that, this is meant to be for product image, inspiration, what you put in. You know your product better than anybody. This is to provide inspiration and more content. But you want to fill in too of like, make sure your product is well, make sure all the attributes are in there that you have if you see stuff missing. So remember, AI always makes mistakes, but this is meant to be as much, to accelerate the process. And we're even making iterations where we're actually going to bring in those attributes too from the product page currently that you have. But this is especially helpful if you're setting up a new product page, especially if you're getting, very minimal manufacturer details from your manufacturer, because they tend not to
Sure.
give you many details about the product. And an image will help with that as well. And I would point out, if you go click on the 5 bullet points, Bradley, you can see it's up to 10. This is very important because, there's a lot of listings, as we saw and proven, that if you have the ability to do up to 10 bullet points, Rufus actually indexes for up to the 10th bullet point, to remember that. So you can get as much content in there as well. And it's designed specifically for that.
Yep. And so that's why, you can only get indexed for SEO up to like the best chance is up to like the first 1,000 characters of bullet points. But you can actually, Rufus will read the entire listing. And that includes extra bullet points. So just because so a lot of people are like, oh, I'm never going to use those 6 and 7 and 8 bullet points because like those aren't even indexed by the Amazon search, which is true. But you still might want to use it so you can get some more info for Amazon's AIs. Now, a couple things I want to point out. In a real world, if this was your listing, don't just rely on what what the AI said the image is and populate. This is just to get you a start here. But what you should be doing, you should be putting stuff like the dimensions of your product. All right. Are you looking at the reviews of your product and the competitors and got some like use cases? Those are the kind of things. Non-keywords, guys, goes into the key features and your description of the product, where these are points about how people use the product. What are people's pain points? What are some unique features? Stuff that nobody would search for. They aren't keywords, but you still want to get in your listing. That's the kind of stuff you put here. This is really cool. Brand voice. So here, it just puts something in here. Hey, this is a clear, modern, and comfort with softness and ease. I could put here, I want a comical voice, or I want a very serious educational voice, right? That's like the voice. But something that Andrew made here that's pretty cool. Like, let's say there's a listing out here that's not even a bath map, but like, let's say this. So let's say we love this listing. Let's just take a look at if it is a decent listing or not. This is a decent listing. Let's just say we love the vibe of this listing, my competitor listing, not the words they use, but just like the tone of it. Watch what I can do, guys. I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Take this ASIN. Okay. And I'm going to change this to reference ASIN. So now what it is, let me delete that, put it here. Now it's going to take the vibe of this other ASIN. Like maybe you're in supplements and you're just like, oh man, the goalie guys, the sports research guys, they just make the best listings. Like they're so funny and quirky. What Andrew made here is I can put that as a reference ASIN where I'm like, hey, I want to take the vibe, the structure of this listing here. Talk about this part right here, Andrew. This enhance with Rufus. When they select this, what is this doing?
Yeah. So what this is going to do is it's going to take, a certain, I have a method that's used where it will go to the marketplace. It'll run it through a system, and it'll answer all the questions that aren't there. It'll handle the ones that, wouldn't make sense. And just to like confirm that you're answerable for Rufus, to have those questions. And we have several other stuff on the way at iterations where we'll add even more ASINs. So you can add competitor ASINs as well, where it'll answer those questions as well of whatever competitor ASINs that you want. But yeah, it's a really good. And remember that too, in this AI workflow, to optimize for Rufus, it's already embedded within our pipeline to optimize for Rufus. In terms of, being indexable from the homepage. There's some methods that were used, if you're familiar with the work I've done on Rufus, when it relates to feature and benefits, and optimizing for intent, that's factored in. But remember, this is important to know remember, we're optimizing for A9 keyword, based search, and we're optimizing for semantic search, intent based, right? Rufus, in other words. So it's kind of twofold in that sense. But whether you select Rufus or not, it will optimize for Rufus. But this is to just ensure that the questions are answered.
For one particular listing here. So by default, your listing will show up here. But you can put your competitor one here and replace it and say, hey, I want to make sure that whatever is coming up in Rufus here on this page, like look at these questions. Is it machine washable? What is the rug made of? Can it be used on hardwood floors? Hey, I want to make sure, to the best of your ability, can we get these questions answered so that if somebody actually clicks on this, it's going to have an answer? Because sometimes some of these questions, there might not be an answer. All right. If a customer is using Rufus, it's supposed to answer the question, or at least try. We got the listing, and now we can just hit generate listing. And now what's going to happen? It's going to do all these things. It's taking into consideration all these keywords that I have here on the left-hand side. It's saying, hey, this guy starred these keywords. I've got to make sure to have these as much as possible in phrase form. Hey, the competitor performance score, meaning more of these keywords or more of the products, the competitor products are all ranking highly for this. Those keywords I've got to get in the listing. Now it's taking the information we had in that AI section about the brand voice and about the different features of the listing. Now it's looking at the Rufus questions from there because we had activated that section. It's doing all of this at once, and it is now going to make a listing that we can start with. And I'm not one of those people who's just like, hey, I'm just going to hit this button once and boom, I'm going to make 30 listings in one day and I'm not even going to review it. But this is something that is going to do better than you can do in 1 minute. I guarantee you that. And especially those of us who have writer's block, or maybe English isn't our first language, this is like necessary to do. You know, like not even if English isn't our first language, like English is my first language, but if I'm making a listing in Amazon UK, I don't understand an Amazon UK customer as well
and this is
as
multilingual
I do.
Too. Remember that. It's not just, and it's not translated text. This is big. We've actually tested this in Chinese. And if Chinese is one of the hardest languages in the world, not the hardest, I would argue. So you can be rest assured that it's not translated, it's native language. So it goes right along with those keywords from that language that you have.
All right, let's see what it did. So now it made a new listing. Let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm not going to even edit it. I'm just going to use the suggestions of everything that it gave me. And it's replacing my old listing. Okay. Use suggestion. And now let's take a look at what happened here on the left-hand side. Guys, do you see how everything has a line through it? All of my most important keywords, it got in phrase form on its first try. And let me just sort by the competitor performance score. Look at all these that it actually got. The top competitor ones, it got into my listing in phrase form. Let's sort by search volume. A lot of the top ones, it got the top search keywords. All right. So it got 51 phrases. Like I said, usually you can maybe only get 20 or 25 phrases in phrase form. It actually got 50 of my keyword phrases in phrase form somehow. What about my individual keywords? It got more than 50% of them. All right. Some of these ones that might be a little bit off, like yoga and stuff like that, it'll take like most of these. Like in some iterations, we've had like up to 75% of the words done. But this is without even me doing anything. I mean, it'll take me like 1 minute to just get a couple more of these keywords in here. But look at that. Now, let me just type in something here. Do you remember, guys, right here, how there was a question in Rufus when it was working about, does it work on hardwood floors? Take a look here. Can be used on hardwood floors. So if we put this listing in, is Rufus going to be able to answer that? You better believe it. What are some of the other questions?
And it gave reasoning and evidence behind it. So if you go back to that, what's more important is that it didn't just answer it, it gave justification. Yes. Why?
Because it includes non-slip backing.
A non-slip backing to help it stay in place.
Machine washable. Let's see if it got that one. Again, guys, we're doing this live. I have no idea if this worked or not, but let's just take a look if AI is making me look good here.
Additionally, the spat mat is machine washable.
Oh, there it is right there. Machine washable for easy care. So you see how I got the questions from Rufus in there? And this is just with one click without even me reviewing it, guys. So this is what you should do. Everybody with Diamond Elite now, this is how you guys should be kind of like analyzing. Is your listing optimized for Rufus? Is it optimized for, let me just show one last thing here.
And Bradley, one thing to mention is those top keywords were used in the first 1,000 characters too. It wasn't just stuff in the project description. Those top starred ones were all used in the bullet points.
Exactly. So guys, the AI is smarter than us, whether we want to admit it or not, and it can do stuff and think in ways that we can't. Is it perfect? No. That's why you still should have some human intervention and stuff. This is what you guys need to do, all right? in 2026, it's not, I mean, it's never been a matter of just keyword stuffing, but it's not just a matter of, oh, what's the best keywords that I think are relevant. No, you need to be looking at the historical keywords. You need to be looking at search query performance. You need to be looking at brand analytics. Tie it all in. And now at the same time, guys, you got to be ready for a world where people are more and more going to be using AIs like Rufus in order to like ask what's going on this page. Is Rufus how people discover the product? No. You know, the data clearly shows that the majority of people are still discovering products through the search bar. And that's going to be an easy thing to guide how that shifts to AI because of data points like search query performance that Amazon shows, where it shows you, hey, how many people are actually typing these things into the search bar. You'll see if it goes down over time. Right now, it's not going down. But what we do know is that the use of Rufus is going up, right? So it's not something that, oh, you know, everybody's just mainly using search. I don't even need to think about Rufus. It's not even important. No, guys, there's people using Rufus, especially to when they get to the product page. I was just on, I'm buying something for my trip to Japan, and I forgot what it was. It was, anybody knows, nobody noticed how much weight I've been losing. I'm doing those like injection things. And so these injection things, you have to keep it cool when you, it needs to be refrigerated, right? So I need to take this to Japan. I'm like, oh man, I want to stay skinny in Japan too. So I need to buy something that can keep it cool on a plane. And so I did a search for a keyword. What's the keyword I searched for? I forgot what I chose, like travel injection pen cooler or something like that, right? But then I got to the actual product page. I'm like, oh man, this thing looks a little bit big. I'm not sure if this is TSA approved. And so what did I do? I went right into Rufus. I was like, hey, is this TSA approved for a carry-on, right? And so it answered me, and that's what made me buy the product, all right? So guess what, guys? That's not a keyword. Maybe TSA approved could be a keyword, so maybe this is not a great example, but there's many occasions where that's not a keyword. Like, remember this bat-shaped bath mat? Hardwood floors is not a keyword. That never came up in our search query performance. Nobody searches hardwood floors, right? But if I hit that Rufus button and said, hey, does this work on hardwood floors? If I didn't optimize for that Rufus prompt, I might have lost that sale, guys, because I didn't have that. And so that's why it's important. If that product or that cooler I just bought, if they didn't say it's TSA approved in there, because I went there on Rufus, that seller could have lost the sale. So this is super important, guys. Balance AI with Helium 10's keyword data. If you guys want to use this and try it, all right, let me hook you up with a deal for those who don't have Helium 10 Diamond plan right now. I think you guys can see it's definitely worth it. Out of all the things in Diamond, like just this listing builder by itself is probably worth it. So let's throw up the coupon code on h10.me/listing training, h10.me/listing training. How you guys, let me show you how that page looks. So this is anybody on a platinum plan or a starter plan or a free plan. You go to this page, and then this is 30% off up to 6 months. This is not like, oh my God, I'm going to be locked into 6 months. All right. 30% off 6 months. All right. So you can just like, don't tell the sales team I told you this, but let's say you only have 4 listings and you think this is all you need. Well, you can cancel after 1 month and you only paid 1 month for it. But I would recommend sticking with Diamond. You know, Andrew's been on the Diamond plan as a Helium 10 customer for years himself, but 30% off up to 6 months you get on the Diamond. Or if you're like, hey, you had me at hello, like I know I'm going to need this for the rest of my life, like Andrew does, you can go on the annual plan and actually save $2,000 off of what you would pay monthly. All right. So just hit one of these buttons. Once you hit this button, make sure you're logged on. Like there'll be a log on button, and then that's what's going to apply the coupon to you. And then you check out there. All right. So hit this. If you do this, there'll be some extra bonuses we're going to give you. Like I'll hook you up with my sourcing agent in China. So you can just, use whoever gets me all my bath mats and all my other products. You'll be able to use her. You'll get a couple months access of Helium 10 Elite for free. We'll hook you up with that. And what are the other bonuses? Do we have any other bonuses here? Oh my goodness, look at this. You can get a one-on-one call with me or Carrie as well. All right. So one-on-one call with me or Carrie. Maybe if a couple of you special request Andrew. Maybe I can convince him to go on a one-on-one call with both of us for anybody who signs up. And
Absolutely.
Those are those bonuses. All right. So that's if you, do this by the end of this week. All right. So this is a limited time offer. Hit one of these plans. Again, h10.me/listing training. It more than pays for itself, guys. Just being able to look up those search create performance keywords, those brand analytic keywords, being able to put this all through our AI system here, more than pays for itself, your fee. Andrew, thank you so much Andrew worked countless hours, scores of hours on this project, late nights with our China team. We're up at like 11 o'clock at night, his time working on this stuff. And so thank you, Andrew, for all your hard work. And guys, this is just the beginning. All right, like we're still going to iterate. Like he said, like Andrew gave you a tease about some of the stuff. We're going to allow you to look at multiple listings for Rufus. I'm going to have more keyword features that you guys are going to be able to do. So this is something that is going to be continuously updated because Amazon algorithm, Amazon's AIs are continuously updated. So look out for it. I hope to see you guys on our next workshop. Until then, thank you guys very much. See y'all later.